Joan Vassos and Chock Chapel from the Golden Bachelorette are still together, but there are indicators that the couple may be having severe relationship issues. In many ways, Joan, 61, and Chock, 60, are exploring uncharted ground. The Golden Bachelor and its female-led spin-off were the first dating shows to focus on senior love lives. Joan, a private school administrator from Maryland, made her television debut as a contestant on Jerry Turner's season of The Golden Bachelor, and was later cast as The Golden Bachelorette. Joan began The Golden Bachelorette Season 1 by greeting 24 single golden men, including Chock, an insurance executive from Kansas. After a difficult season of highs and lows, Joan gave Chock her final rose and he proposed. They left the Bachelor mansion as a blissfully engaged couple and began their new lives together. Though they appeared pleased, engaging into a serious relationship after meeting on reality TV is not for the faint of heart. Joan and Chock recently celebrated their first new year, but there are signs they won't make it until 2025 as a couple. Joan and Chock are not the first golden pair to emerge from the Bachelor spin-off. The first season of The Golden Bachelor concluded with Jerry marrying Teresa Nist, 70. The septuagenarian couple had great aspirations, but those were dashed 3 months later when Jerry and Teresa announced the first Golden Bachelor divorce. The breakdown of Jerry and Teresa's marriage put a lot of strain on Joan and Chock, who didn't want to jeopardize the brand with another divorce. Joan and Chock are taking their time getting to know each other, and they may discover they aren't compatible. Joan and Chock appear to be considerably happier together than Jerry and Teresa were, but happiness comes easier early in a relationship. Joan and Chock were swept away on a whirlwind tour of television appearances, podcast interviews, and other public events in the weeks following their relationship's public announcement. Then they spent their first holidays together, introducing their children for the first time. Now that they've settled into the routine of daily life, they may finally have the time to consider whether they're right for each other. Long before being a participant on The Golden Bachelor Season 1, Joan married John Vassos, her greatest friend and love of her life. They had been married for 32 years and had 4 children together before he died in 2021. It wasn't long before she consented to appear in Jerry's season and then quickly moved on to lead her own season. As a widow, she has spent the most of her time on the Bachelor franchise. She may adore Chock, but it's evident that her heart is with John. Chock was also in great sadness. In 2022, he had to bury Catherine Gorey, his fiancée of 9 years. During their first The Golden Bachelorette Season 1 solo date, Chock told Joan about the most devastating loss of his life. It wasn't long before he consented to appear on the show, but it seemed like he wasn't prepared. As if that wasn't enough, Chock's mother died while he was in Los Angeles filming the episode. He rushed home to care for his family, but returned. By the end of the program, though it demonstrated his profound dedication to Joan, Chock likely required more time to mourn his mother before fully committing to the procedure. Joan and Chock appear to be dealing with a significant loss, and it's unclear how their love story will fit into their life. Joan has 4 adult children, whereas Chock has 2 of his own. Joan and Chock were anxious to reunite their families after becoming engaged during the Season 1 finale of The Golden Bachelorette. They're both close to their families, so having their children included in the process was vital. Joan had Chock and his children over for Thanksgiving in Maryland and posted images of the Vassos and Chapel celebrations on Instagram. Joan and Chock shared their Christmas images on Instagram, and the Vassos and Chapels appeared to be blending into one large, joyful, modern family. Things appeared to be going well when Joan shared an Instagram video of herself and Chock discussing their relationship with their fans. They talk about bringing their families together, which Joan admits has been little harder right now. It's wonderful that Joan and Chock are so open about their relationship experience. It may help others manage the complexities of starting new relationships later in life. Soon after ABC introduced Joan as the Golden Bachelorette, she told CNN that she had no intention of marrying anyone she met on the show. She mentioned that being on the show wasn't enough time to get to know someone, and she wanted to take things carefully. Joan's trepidation vanished when Chock dropped down on one knee during the Golden Bachelorette rose ceremony. Joan may have been unable to say no to Chock, but only time will tell whether their love will continue. When the Golden Bachelorette aired its first season, it was a milestone in reality television. For the first time, viewers witnessed the love story of seniors embarking on a new chapter of life, dating in their golden years. Joan Vassos, a 61-year-old private school administrator from Rockville, Maryland, was given the opportunity to choose a partner from 24 men who were each seasoned in life and relationships. The season's narrative, while filled with the typical drama and romantic tension associated with the Bachelor franchise, also carried an added dimension of maturity and experience. Among the men who competed for Joan's heart was Chock Chappell, a 60-year-old insurance executive from Wichita, Kansas. Chock's easygoing charm and deep emotional maturity won Joan over, and at the end of the season, she handed him the final rose. They left the show as an engaged couple, capturing the hearts of viewers who were rooting for this senior romance to blossom beyond the confines of reality TV. However, as the years went by, cracks began to appear in their seemingly perfect relationship. While Joan and Chock's love story initially seemed destined for a fairy tale ending, the complexities of real life have set in. The two are no strangers to the challenges that come with blending families, maintaining long-distance relationships, and managing expectations set by an audience who believes they've found the perfect match. As they enter 2025, there are growing signs that their love story might not be as enduring as many once thought. In fact, the reality of their situation suggests that they may not make it out of 2025 as a couple. The road ahead for Joan and Chock looks increasingly uncertain. Dating shows, particularly those that thrive on competition, often provide a carefully curated environment that fosters rapid romantic connections. For Joan and Chock, their relationship blossomed in the context of the Golden Bachelorette Season 1, an environment designed for fast-paced emotional investments. But when the cameras turned off and they were left to live their real lives, the shift was palpable. The couple may have been in love, but the challenge of building a life outside of the Bachelor bubble proved difficult. Joan and Chock are both in their 60s, with decades of experiences, habits, and lifestyles behind them. While love may have been instantaneous, melding their individual lives into a cohesive shared existence was always going to be a monumental task. Reality TV can be incredibly intense, said Dr. Mia Thompson, a psychologist who specializes in relationships. What happens on a show like The Golden Bachelorette is not reflective of everyday life. People often have these grand moments of connection in the most extraordinary circumstances, but when you're thrust into real-life situations, it can feel like the ground is shifting beneath you. For Joan and Chock, reality hit hard after the cameras stopped rolling. They faced the daunting task of integrating their families, maintaining separate lives in different states, and navigating the pressures of being in a relationship that had been scrutinized by millions of viewers. While these factors aren't insurmountable, the fact remains that entering a relationship after meeting in such an intense, fast-moving environment can lead to a jarring adjustment period. One of the primary hurdles that Joan and Chock have faced since their engagement has been the challenge of blending their families. Joan, who has 2 grown children from a previous marriage, was used to managing her own household in Rockville, Maryland. Chock, on the other hand, had his own established life in Wichita, Kansas, where his family was deeply involved in his day-to-day existence. When they first became engaged, both Joan and Chock were excited to begin their new lives together. However, blending 2 families with different dynamics has proven to be far more complicated than either of them anticipated. The couple has been vocal about the struggles they've faced with their family's varying levels of acceptance and involvement in their relationship. Joan's children, in particular, expressed reservations early on. While they were happy for their mother, there was an underlying tension. Joan had been married before, and her children were understandably protective of her. They had witnessed the trials of previous relationships, and the idea of their mother rushing into another marriage, especially one that had unfolded under the public eye, was difficult for them to fully embrace. "It's not easy to watch your mom go through such a public courtship," said Joan in a recent interview. "I know my children have their own concerns, and I understand that, but this is my life now, and I want them to see that I'm happy."